So I'm going to talk to you about Lovely Charts. Lovely Charts is an online diagramming application I started working on a couple of years ago in 2007. It's been finally released to the public in February this year. And basically it's a tool that allows you to create diagrams of all kinds, such as flowcharts, sitemaps, organization charts, and what have you. I started that project as a pet project because I just was frustrated with the solutions that existed at the moment. I wanted a tool that was going to be easy to use in terms of the user interface, but I was going to be easy to use in that it would make it easy for me to create good-looking stuff that would help me communicate ideas in a clear, visual way without having me to think about how am I going to draw that? What symbol am I going to use? Do I need to use that diamond shape, or do I need to use that strange little shape with waves or whatever? I wanted a tool that was going to help me produce good-looking stuff, sexy diagrams, because, well, I don't know for you guys, but I don't do diagrams for fun. Even if I started Lovely Charts, I do diagrams because I have to communicate things with other people. Being in a pitch or being in a presentation, I want to communicate ideas. I want to convince someone. I want to impress. I want to seduce. So I want the diagrams produced to look good, to help me get my message through easier. Finally, I was interested into looking at what was possible to do online to be able to leverage all the things that online services can bring to you, such as collaboration and the ability to publish diagrams very easily everywhere. I'm going to demonstrate the result of all that brainstorming by creating a new flowchart to show you how this was put into practice. So I'm going to create a new flowchart. I get presented with a blank canvas. Do you hear me when I'm here? Yeah. Okay. This is going to be the starting point of my diagram. So I can just edit it and say this is the starting point. And then what's going to be the next steps? Usually in typical diagramming applications, you have to pick some other tools somewhere very far in the interface on a very tiny button, pick the connector tool to connect existing symbols. What we have here is two simple tools. The first one is the drag and drop tool, which is a very classical tool to move things around, resize, rotate. And the other one is a tool to create new symbols and connect existing symbols together. The way it works is you have this starting point, and I'm going to the next step. So from this point, I'm going to get to that step, and then I'm going to go to that step. And then I'm adding steps in a very natural way, pretty much in the way I'm thinking about it. So that I don't have to think about where to put symbols. Now, what's interesting is that if you look at the symbols that I use here, you get rounded rectangles at the beginning and the end, which are the official symbols for flowcharts for start and end points. Whereas I have rectangles for intermediary steps. But I don't have to think about it. I just created my diagram and the software picked the right symbols for me. Now what's going to happen if I add another option here? Well, I'm going to add a decision, change the symbol into a decision for me. If I want to go back there, I'll just connect. Using that same simple tool, I'm just creating my old diagram. And once I've created it, I can just modify it, make it look a bit better. Oops. Once I'm happy with it, I can export it as JPEG, PNG, or PDF file and put it in my report, my doc, or my presentation, and save it to my desktop. Just to show you a bit of other diagrams that have been created using that tool. This is an example of a sitemap, a pretty complex tool. Another flowchart. I can show you some other stuff, probably better looking. This one is pretty nice. as you can see on the library, you've got a bunch of symbols which have been used here, which can be just created by, but that's the boss. So I can create my error sheet just pretty naturally. These are all the managers. What becomes interesting is that when you want to change a symbol, instead of having to delete that symbol and create a new one, you just select it and say, okay, this is going to be a connector, and it changes. Oops. Once I've created my diagram, sorry, I'm logged into a wrong account. I can share it with other people. And the way I do it is just by adding the, well, I'm not going to do it, I don't know how to type the at key on a Mac keyboard.
Over the two.
Right. You get the idea.
All right, Jérôme, your 5 minutes is through, but if you want to make a final point, you can answer questions.
Done.
All good?